Alrighty, so we are back in the saddle yet again with another critique series based on another survival horror franchise. We jump from one rabbit hole to the next, from Dead Space to the grandfather of survival horror, Resident Evil. The game that coined the term. Now, of course, with the notion of Dead Space, the gloves are not hung up yet after suffering so much terminal stupidity from people who like to pocket watch and worry about all the plugged up woke minds, and they live vicariously through synthetic man, and they have hives equivalent to unadulterated dog shit. It just made me have an epiphany that I could warp this into a casual series and see what is going on and continue to be the way that I am while I sit here and have fun with these horror games, and I'm not worried about gender neutral signs or bathroom signs or whatever, because I know it's a fictional horror space. Therefore, it has nothing to do with anything of the sort. And the idea that people are so scared about this and they talk a big game and they say people are being snowflakes when a sign in a video game makes them snowflake out, and they want to bring up these arguments of consumption and whatnot, when we already know that ethical consumption they don't go to bat for, because they don't care about those iPhones or bars of soap or anything that was developed by other hands. They don't go to rally against that because they know that is their necessity. Sure, there could be an argument to be made on that, but video games and escapism and stuff you could shut off is not really one of those things, unless maybe, I don't know, you don't want to support a company because of crunch. I understand that. All this rallying and rah-rah against capitalist signs when those graffiti artworks of environmental storytelling were in the original Dead Space for 2008. So I guess now using reused assets is now woke? Do you hear the mental stupidity of these people right now? It's absolutely crazy, and I'm going to enjoy laughing at them every singular second too. So we're going to get right into this with Resident Evil, and we're going to try something different and see what we have here. And I already typed up Jill Scort, and this is under DeMayo saying this is not Jill Valentine. Let's see what he has to say in this 6-minute video.
This isn't Jill Valentine.
Go after Nikolai! He's got the vaccine!
What about you?
We're running out of time. I've got this.
I know you do.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
If you saw the new Jill and you knew something wasn't right, I'm here to explain why. The two things that are obviously wrong are being dismissed by some as just superficial changes, whereas I think they are giant red flags. Her face and her clothes.
What's wrong with the face? I thought, universally speaking, it's always the face with these people. It's always purest face values. I think we need to give this like a name or something. Purest face values, because it's always either the face or the clothes. And I know this is like subjective viewpoints, but at least in RE3 Remake, they did put in the classic outfit. And as I said before, I'll say it again. Everyone's saying that remakes don't change faces for a AAA game where they're focused on realism. They do. Every singular face has been changed and altered as they progress through the series, and Resident Evil is really no different. Like, Jill has, how many facelifts has Jill had, like, over the past few years or so? Like, maybe 20, 30? I don't know, it's a lot of them, but they finally focus on Sasha, who is the face actress for Jill Valentine, and I just don't see the problem. It looks exactly how Jill would look in modern day. So let's continue.
And her clothes. We're going to talk about what they changed and why it makes me worried about the Resident Evil 3 remake. So who is Jill Valentine? She trained in Delta Force, which specializes in counterterrorism and the like. She works for the Special Task and Rescue Squad, STARS, in Raccoon City. It's not a huge place like Chicago or New York City, but it's of a decent size. STARS is based in the local police department. They have one office and just a few desks. I never got the impression that STARS found themselves with a lot of work. When the STARS encounter the events of Resident Evil 1 in the mansion, they seem well equipped, but they aren't presented as super badasses. Jill, like Chris, seems very friendly and cool.
I didn't know that was going to happen.
Did he say that STARS didn't present itself as super badasses despite being heavily like military trained and stuff like that? And you know, Jill was Delta Force and Chris was Air Force, and you had people with backgrounds in the army and stuff like that. Clearly speaking, while they didn't have the foresight to deal with rampant BOWs all over the place, destroying and affecting and killing their men and women of STAR's team, this team was made as special tactics and rescue. They were clearly made to be a badass unit. You know what I mean? In terms of their training, in terms of how they coordinate themselves. This is why they're a special team inside of the RPD. Because they get shit done in terms of dealing with some heavy situations. Now, maybe they weren't ready for, obviously, what was going to happen in Spencer's mansion or whatever. But still, like, Jill was already born and bred to be badass despite her nice personality towards others. And of course, she has the tenacity to be stern when she wants to, as we saw in Resident Evil 3 OG and Resident Evil 3 Remake. Alright, man, let's keep going.
Sorry. I was really careless.
Are you okay, Barry? Maybe you're getting tired.
She's kinda cute in the way she talks. She's probably in her early 20s and fairly inexperienced. The actress that played her was 19 years old. And she dressed professionally, but look at her. Her outfit obviously has a feminine fashion sense. She likes to look good, even when she's working. This girl is not trying to make anyone think she's an action hero.
I don't think that was the core idea of being an action hero. Just, it looked like the designs of Resident Evil 1 was appealing to the fact that these were military trained super cops and they needed to look the part. I don't understand the whole action hero vibe. They all have their own accents and colors and surely their own details, yes. But to say they are done in a particular way outside of that might be a little bit erroneous.
She's strong when she needs to be. She's pleasant and charming just naturally. And sometimes she's just adorable. She holds her own and she can handle a bazooka and she can pick any lock, and she's also an expert at bomb defusal.
I don't know how this is getting funnier. It just seems like he wants to put Jill on a dating app and try to get her to swipe right on him. It just sounds funny the way he's going into mass detail, and he loves Jill far more than me.
Jill Valentine is not a sexualized character either.
We've seen that any character on Rule 34 can be sexualized, sir.
Sure, she has a hot body and a pretty face.
Well, speak of the devil.
But so does every protagonist, male or female, in any entertainment medium.
There is sexualized people in movies and games. Yes, that's true.
But she isn't gyrating for the camera or talking sexy. She isn't flirting with anyone. She has no love interest. She's just Jill, a smart, well-trained girl with spunk and a sense of fashion. Resident Evil 3 drove this point home further by showing us how Jill dresses when she's not on duty. Strapless shirt, skirt, jacket tied around her waist, knee-high boots. Resident Evil 3 Jill looks like she's ready to go to a club or shopping with her girlfriends. It was interesting. This chick is fun and likes to dress up when she goes out, and we never second-guessed it because we already knew her from the first game.
Well, the real reason in Resident Evil Archives was due to the fact that Raccoon City was dealing with an Indian summer, so it wasn't just due to going out and shopping. She did this because If it's like hot 70 degrees out, you wear less clothes. That makes sense. It always made sense from a perspective of how they were designing the character just because of the environment and storytelling and the reason behind it. If it's hot as fuck outside, I'm going to be wearing a tank top. It's going to be no contest. I'm not going to be wearing a long sleeve shirt. So I understand. I get it. I get why they did this design in particular, but I'm waiting for him to say why this isn't Jill Valentine in RA3 Remake. Still waiting on that.
And before you say I'm ascribing too much significance to her clothes, we're talking about video game characters in the 90s.
You kind of did a little bit. Just a little bit. That's all I'm saying.
They had just recently been able to add CD audio to games for character dialogue. The way the character looks is a fantastic way to communicate their attitude, especially in games that were...
I agree with that point. I agree that the look and stylistics of the character shows who they are. Like Dante, for example, in Devil May Cry, where he wears all red and he's a badass and he looks cool. I can agree that goes with the personality too.
Were limited in their ability to do cinematic storytelling. Resident Evil 3 Jill carries the same personality of Resident Evil 1 Jill. She's friendly and warm-hearted. She's a caring person.
I slightly disagree with that. While she is caring to the civilians and everything and tries to help them, Jill is a bit more apprehensive in this game. She's a bit more defensive because she's dealing with Carlos's crew who she doesn't trust, and she has to grow to trust Carlos. And she really hates Umbrella, so there's a push and pull of turmoil there. Jill is definitely a lot more defensive now, and that's because of the event, the traumatic event of RE1 happening to the character.
And she never feels like she's angry. She's just
She does get a little bit angry in the game at some points.
doing what she has to do to get the job done and do the right thing.
Umbrella, those liars. I remember that.
Fire! Stay together!
Calm down. You're safe now. Everything is gonna be okay.
Now let's look at the new Jill. First, the face. Gone is the friendly, inviting face of the originals. Say hello to androgynous angry girl.
What the hell? Oh my, what? What is he talking about? Androgynous angry girl. Isn't there a still in Resident Evil 3 Remake where Jill smiles in the subway train? She smiles back at Carlos and everything. Right? The human face can convey like thousands of emotions. Why are you neglecting that point in time? Well, I know this is before the guy actually played the game, but if he played the game, if he waited, he would have known that. I just don't understand. And you know, I swear, he did point out a still from that part in the subway train. So I'm figuring that scene had to be like already out there by that point. So I can't be wrong that we already seen it. And there was the RE3 demo as well. Like, now you gotta think of when he made this video, but I'm sure we've seen Jill smiling. She had various expressions and screenshots and everything like that. This is just something he should have waited on, Chief.
She looks disturbingly similar to the Quiet Man. A man,
What? What is this comparison?
and she just looks stressed and angry. I'm not
I would be stressed and angry too if a giant 8-foot tall nemesis, which is the core principle of the game, would be chasing me relentlessly, trying to kill me, killing my friends. I would be pissed too and not in a good mood if that were happening to me.
saying that a female character can't be all badass and angsty in a game, but that's not Jill. I hate her face. Second,
Bro. He said she was the quiet man. I'm just done. What the?
Second, the clothes, which just continue the problem. She's not dressed like she's going out to have fun, and that was the whole point.
Jill was never dressed to go out to have fun. She dressed that way because it was hot. And still, she's wearing like a tank top, you know. Still probably hot out there. That Indian summer in Raccoon City, 1998. The only thing different now is she has pants on and some combat gear present earlier, as opposed to getting the satchel that gives you the green combat gear on the classic costume. I don't get it. Yeah, like I heard people call this costume, oh, it's been modernized and whatnot. But his take, I don't get it. He wants Jill to look like she's going out clubbing when it's hot as fuck outside. That's why she's dressed the way she was originally. So I don't. This one's a weird one. This one's weird.
Was the whole point. It added this touch to her character of, I'm not working today, and I'm supposed to be out dancing right now, but Umbrella has royally screwed my plans.
It's great that the classic costume is still in the game.
Now we get a shirt with straps and boring black jeans and combat boots.
I mean, you can... I don't get why people always say, oh, you know, these girls aren't dressing up like the way I want, and the males can dress up for practicality and gear, and you got RE6 Leon wearing like the black vest, the badass black vest and pants, and the blue and everything, and nobody complained about him. But when you go to the females and they get changed for practicality and gear and tacticality, they are ostracized, demonized, and thus these opinions happen. And I don't understand when people say this stuff. It's weird.
It sucks.
Why can't some girls wear tactical gear when dealing with bioorganic weapons? That's the question I'm posing today.
I think they're turning Jill into a boring badass action star, and that's not who she was.
What does that mean, bro? A boring badass action star? Well, what? Okay. That dress is practical? What does that mean? It probably means nothing.
I hope I'm wrong, but they already cranked up the girl power on Claire, so put me down for significantly worried.
What? Okay, Claire looks jeans and a biker jacket. How is that girl power? What the dude, I don't get what these people be saying. I just don't understand them. I fail to understand. Again, and it makes sense for Claire too, because again, we're talking about a college student that likes to be on a bike a lot. And not only that, she has her classic outfit except for sleeves, because Sleevegate, I remember that. Either way, you can fix that on PC, so it's not a big deal, but still. Why? As I completely just smack my gamer chair. It's like I'm just clenching my fist.
Worried. So they're covering up her legs with black jeans. Is this because Capcom doesn't want to sexualize female characters?
What? Have you seen the recent Street Fighter 6 stuff? Where, you know, there's a lot of these people that care so much about sexualization. And you know what the problem is? How about this? How about you do this? Get a gaming rig, go to PC, install new mod, install Rule 34 mod, done. Therefore, you can have your characters being impractical and running around naked in the streets in cold or super hot Raccoon City weather with no shoes, walking on glass, as if that makes sense, on your PC, on your home PC, and there's no bother of the sort. How about that? How about we have easy solutions to your very, very difficult problem?
Not buying it. Is it because her outfit wasn't realistic for combat? Well, that was the point, idiot. The point was that she is not...
Oh, man.
dressed for combat because she's off duty and she's had a flashy fashion sense since the first game.
She is off duty, but it's because it's hot. It's the
I
same.
think
It's the
they
same.
changed her clothes
It's the same point.
because they've changed her character. I think they've fundamentally changed the personality of Jill Valentine for this game, and now the costume doesn't work. So
Jill is still relatively the same. Although I should bring up the point that people were like, I don't know, maybe I should wait until the next video before I bring that up. I know people were like, this is part of westernization for Japanese games, even though I don't think these mental fools, these mental morons understand that Resident Evil in terms of an aesthetic has always been influenced by the West. That's why the characters look realistic. That's why it's focused in mostly American backdrops and cities. Yeah. Let's continue.
they're dressing her in a more boring, understated way to fit her boring character. Oh,
Jill's the same in the game. It's the same. It's the same sort of caring but determined personality to me when I played it. So I don't know. This was a bunch of garbage. At the end, like in the middle, he was kind of, meandering a little bit and talking about her persona, but
but you can pay us extra for the collector's edition if you still want the old costume. Screw you. This isn't Jill. At least I don't think it's going to be Jill. And if we can pay extra to have a DLC costume to put on her so she walks around looking like old Jill, but she's not acting like Jill, then the whole thing's just going to feel empty. I don't know. I'm excited about this game because
my head hurts so much. It's just so much preconceived misjudging like all these people do. Let's just move on to the next one, which I know is not going to be any better. Here we go.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is Magnum Martel, and welcome back to AFNL, where I report the news that should surprise abso-fucking-lutely no one. And today, I'm gonna be pretty fucking brutal because I'm in a bad mood.
Oh, joy. Angry. Oh, joy. Let me see if I can fix the... Wow, the quality looks so bad.
I had my good mood and good day ruined as soon as I woke up. So let's get right to it. God bless one angry gamer.
Oh, I just did a physical groan. Oh, one angry gamer fan, the guy that said, "Oh, I can't go outside because other men exist." I can't look at the faces of other male figures, and I'm so scared. I can't go outside. Oh, God.
Regardless of what woke Twitter thinks about them, they are doing the Lord's work. They're doing my work. Your Lord and Savior has come to do his own work a little bit, but they were a good stand-in for me for a while. Resident Evil 3. Who's excited for that? I sure as fuck am. I know my buddy John sure.
I'm still excited for the game, even though I have this tiff about Jill Valentine. I'm still gonna get it day one, of course, naturally speaking.
As fuck is. Hell, I'm probably more excited for this than I was for Resident Evil 2, and believe me, I was really fucking excited for Resident Evil 2's remake. I love that game. I played the demo this week. I actually just released the video on it today, the same day I'm recording this video, and I gotta say, I had a lot of fun with it. I'm looking forward to the full release. But there's been one thing that has been upsetting Resident Evil fans, especially myself.
Not me, so don't include me into this bullshit.
Pretty much since they announced... Daisy, why are you yelling at me, baby? Pretty much since they released the,
Whoa, what is happening with the background noise? It's like I heard an airplane engine. Excuse me? I heard an airplane engine. I heard a cat in the background. I heard everything. Like there's a lot of family turmoil happening.
the information that it was coming out and dropped the artwork for Jill Valentine, our protagonist, who you see on screen right now. By the way, this gameplay is from the demo. Spoiler free, don't worry. So the thing that's had everybody worried for quite a while now is Jill's outfit. It's pretty obvious, like the characters of Resident Evil 2, Leon and Claire, they changed her outfit for this new version of the game for some ungodly reason.
They already talked about why they redesigned the characters. They redesigned them to not only try to resemble some core identity to the original, but they also wanted to put their own spin on the characters as well, hence why they look slightly different. It's still Jill Valentine, it's still Leon Kennedy, it's still Claire Redfield, just updated. And that's it. There's no other reason or what you're looking for. Like, you're sort of trying to find a reason to be this upset. And that's what people do. That's what people do like this when they grift. They want to look for a reason to be upset when the developers themselves, I watched every single Resident Evil roundtable, and they literally said, hey, we just want to make our own touches and assets to the character, and that's it. You have options for classics. You have options for mods. There you go.
One angry gamer called it a while ago, back in December of last year, both on the 19th and the 25th, with two separate articles that I've not read, but I will link down in the description, talking about how Jill looks more masculine. And
what? Okay. So girls can't simply be cut up anymore. They can't be fit. They look more like men. I have a feeling. I can't believe people are this afraid of women. Like, if you go to a gym, are you gonna bow out because a girl's working out? Like, what is the deal? She looks more masculine. What does that mean? Because she has a tank top on? I see girls with tank tops on like all the fucking time in my neighborhood, dude. That's like a normal everyday occurrence. Every day. You see that every day around here. Especially if it's hot. People are gonna wear less, maybe even less than what Jill's wearing. So I don't understand.
And she absolutely does. You'll see her face quite a bit here in this gameplay if you pay attention. But they made her look like some kind of Russian supermodel who's a very masculine-looking woman. Now, women from Russia are usually pretty masculine, but that doesn't normally hold them back from beauty. And
aren't like most of the women who face model after Jill, weren't they, not all of them, but weren't a good bulk of them like foreign descent models or up and coming models maybe? And then there's like the popular one, Julia Voth, which I don't know her nationality, but I know she's a model. So I was like, do some research. Well, you have it there.
you know what? She ain't half bad. I'm not gonna lie. She is an attractive young lady. Jill, however, while still being attractive, is definitely more masculine and manly than she used to be. So,
what does that mean? More masculine than what she used to be? Because she's a little bit built. I thought Jill was always like kind of strong. I mean, as a person who went through Delta Force, you would figure you're not gonna be like super tiny or anything. Like you already know like how to fight. So this is one of those videos.
So today we're going to jump into an article about Resident Evil 3 Remake's Jill was changed to remove sex appeal, says the art director. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen.
Now, usually when we do articles like these and people like to bleed in opinion pieces and whatnot and misinterpret things from the developers, we got to ask a question. When this article was written, how much of it was the opinion of the actual writer versus the actual translation? We got to ask that question now, because what people like to do is they like to misinterpret articles before they actually read them and post them. I'm just saying in general.
Just when you thought to yourself that Japan, the last bastion for us, the people...
The last bastion. It's the last non-woke bastion for us. Therefore, hey, you know, Capcom actually did make a post saying that they were all for representation and everything, and these same people got mad over it. So it shows that even in Japan, they still are very, very equal to other rights and other people. Just hearing it called the last bastion after Capcom sort of made that post saying, hey, we're all for all types of people, is funny to me. That's hilarious. And it was also a lot of people on there acting like dickheads about it.
That don't give a shit about the woke left and the Twitter people here in America and in Europe.
But you're making this video. Yeah. Every time people say this, but it's like, well, we're here making this video. Let's keep going.
Wouldn't bend the knee. Well, they bend the knee. It seems like they bend the knee every other week at this point. It seems like they are bending the knee more frequently. And it also seems like the methods of the woke SJW politically correct asshats we have here in America has very slowly been infecting and infesting Japan.
I wonder how tall that tinfoil hat is. That hat gotta be going all the way into space right now. I gotta watch over my shoulder. These people are watching me. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Let's get right into the article, because this just makes me sad. Capcom's art director for Resident Evil 3 Remake, Young-hee Cho, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, told Game Informer in a recent interview that the original Jill Valentine design for Resident Evil 3 back in 1999 was designed to capitalize on her sex appeal. He claims that was not the right direction, and that is always the right direction. I don't know where you ever got that stupid idea.
If that is not the direction of someone making the game and who works there and they wanted to try something different, who are you to tell them no, they can't do that? They worked on the game. Maybe they're like, you know what? We want Jill to be taken more seriously. We want Jill to not only be taken more seriously, we also want to make her design a lot more natural, as opposed to saying, oh, you know, like I said, it makes sense for her to be in the Indian summer skirt, but just to say, hey, we don't want to focus on sex appeal anymore. We want to do something else. We want to make her a tactile badass. They're in their right to do that if they want to. If that was the real reason, as I'm losing my voice, I'm sorry about that. I've been going on for so long, but if that's the real reason they said they wanted to make her more tactile and have that reflect in the costume, then they're more than obligated to do that, because number one, they made the game. And as I'm saying this, and I'm also saying the original costume made sense for what it was in archives. It really did.
Although I have a pretty good goddamn guess. So they designed the new Jill for practicality. God, I fucking hate that word.
What's wrong with practicality? Like I said, nobody complains about this with Leon or Chris when they dress for practicality. So why is it just mostly oriented on females being practical? It doesn't make sense.
Why do they always go for practicality? Why is that the go-to excuse?
I don't know, man. If I'm... Okay, I put it like this. Because in the beginning of RA3, Jill barely had any time to change at all, from what I assume. So, if I were to get out of bed, and we're using hypotheticals now, and I had time to dress appropriately, and if I knew Nemesis was coming to fuck me up, I would want to get as much gear, ammo, and stuff as possible. I would not want to be caught with my pants down fighting an 8-foot tall BOW just because of my aversion to practicality. Right? That's what I would do. I would want to ammo up. I will want to be prepared. I don't want to slip up. I don't want to have any second guesses as to what is going on.
Just admit that you censored it and changed it to appease the woke Twitter crowd here that weren't even going to buy the game to begin with.
I think you're misinterpreting that. I think because again, practicality is a reason. It is a reason, and like I said, no people who do this complain about the males doing it. So yeah, even though I mean Chris looks cool now in the Luau Honolulu outfit and Resident Evil Death Island. So I mean, even casual wise, these people dress accordingly, and it's fine. It's absolutely okay. But again, it's nothing. She just has pants on. That's it. It's just some pants. While I would put the blue, well, not the blue sweater, it's the white sweater. The white sweater over Jill. I don't know what they call it. I don't know what the proper term is. The cardigan. I would put the cardigan on to make the design stick out. But I have no problem with the practicality of the outfit. Anyway, I think we spent way too long on this point. We know what he's gonna say. Regurgitation at its finest with the same, oh, who's woke? Woke. So let's move on to this video that's different. It's the initial thoughts of Edward 18 when he talked about Resident Evil 2 Remake, and I want to hear what he has to say. Just to preface and say, this was still before the game was formally dropped. This was only the reveal trailer and his thoughts on that, but I still want to hear what he has to say. I'm gonna skip that. We're gonna skip this intro right quick, and we're gonna get to the good part. Right here.
Well, they finally did it. After all the fan efforts, fan remake getting shut down, and the rumors of possible cancellation, Capcom has finally released material for the Resident Evil 2 remake that everyone has been waiting for the last decade and a half. And it looks as little as it can like to without ditching what it's based on. Like, I seriously do not understand Capcom's need to keep changing things now.
Even though Chris Hoofield in RE7 was quite funny and everyone thought he was hunk, it's not natural for Capcom to change faces. They've done it countless times. I don't know why people are still surprised by this. Holy shit, it is like, it's not even anything new now. And the funny thing about this is they changed it back in Resident Evil Village. Therefore, it is what it is.
Like what? Are we gonna see Birkin in a tuxedo next?
No. And even when the game came out, no. Birkin looked like William Birkin, and that was it. That's just a gross over-exaggeration, man. Jesus Christ.
We already got the T-103 over here rocking that fedora.
I thought they said that originally Mr. X always had a hat in concept art. You see, I don't think many people pay attention to the concept art. Him having a hat also is not bothersome. I mean, shoot it off. just aim upwards, aim at his bald chrome dome and pull the trigger and the hat is gone. That was also not an issue. They were saying in developer commentaries that they put the hat on because they wanted him to look inconspicuous. Now, do I agree that an 8-foot tall man with graying skin walking straight towards you, do I think that's inconspicuous? No, but they also said that about the original Tyrant as well in RE2. Big trench coat, supposed to be inconspicuous, but he's really not. Something's off. I think we could use the rest of our brain to deduce that tall height being the reason why.
Dora.
That officer you met earlier, Elliot.
That's supposed to be Elliot? That looks nothing like Mario. Who's gonna shoot down the chopper now?
It's bad because he doesn't look like the original. Womp womp womp. That was a funny edit though, I'm not gonna lie.
I don't
Unleash the nerd rage. Just I see the cartoon model just bundling up. It's funny.
understand. Like, we all know the story. Resident Evil 2 has been told and interlocked into the other games throughout the franchise for the past 20 years now. It's been done time and time again, with the events playing out relatively the same, with the characters looking how they always have, or at least similarly enough that you can go, yeah, that's the iconic look of this part of the story. But this? The game that's the actual remake of 2 is the one that decides to change everything.
Well, yeah, it's a reimagining of RE2. Therefore, it's their interpretation on the events and the looks and the story and everything else. It's not that hard to understand, man. It's really not. This is basic common sense 101. This is not a one-for-one remake. It's a reimagining that changes a lot of things, but it keeps the core of what Resident Evil 2 is, which is survival, horror, and a giant police museum. That's it.
Why?
Because if it was the same exact thing, and you know this deep down, if it all looked the same 100% just with better graphics, then you guys would say, oh, well, Capcom is lazy. They did not change much of anything. It might look similar to the original, but they did not do anything that broke new ground, therefore they are lazy. They tried nothing new. They tried nothing inventive. Therefore, I'm going to also hate that premise while not understanding how hypocritical that is. If it was the same old shit, you would be hating. For sure. Without a doubt. Someone out there, without question, would be saying that same rhetoric.
You don't just grow out of a cleft chin.
I thought this was funny. Listen to this again.
Why? You don't just grow out of a cleft chin.
Who on God's green earth cared this much that Leon didn't have a cleft chin before, but now he does? Who? Look, I understand some of you people, when you look at these video game models, you have a microscope directly primed on their face. But quite honestly and sincerely, who really cares outside of just you? Who? Because Leon has a cleft chin now, how does that invalidate the quality of the game? Just... Oh my god, my head. Oh my god. Oh my god, I think I skipped forward. Wait. How do you just grow out of a cleft chin? I don't know. Maybe because it's not the same facial actor as before, so there is some updates to what is going on with this man's chin. Why did I entertain this? Who sent this dude? No, actually, no one sent them. I found them, but it's just the notion, the implication, the idea. It never fails.
Chin. Why was Leon warned to stay away from Raccoon City a week prior to the outbreak?
A reimagining. Changes will happen.
Yeah, well, I was supposed to start last week, and I got a call to stay away.
Now he's not drunk and incompetent and with his ex-girlfriend anymore that he broke up with. Now he actually really wants to be a member of STARS and not getting that phone call was suspicious. Yeah, they changed the backstories, of course, and Claire now has a gun going into Raccoon City, but it's all still superficial to the entire goal of the game itself. I think it's still Resident Evil 2 occurring in some fashion.
I wish I'd come here sooner.
He's supposed to have been late because he got drunk or something.
And now he's not drunk, and it probably made more sense to do this as opposed to him crashing off the road in a drunk stupor.
Why would
I don't know. I'm just throwing out hypotheticals at best.
anyone even warn someone not to come to the city that early?
If I saw a bunch of zombies out there and I really care for my comrades and I had some communication with them and I took my last phone call before the power went out, I would warn people as well not to come into the city. Knowing Leon and his naivete, he decided to do so anyway, and thus Resident Evil 2 happened. I still fail to see a problem with that.
The only person that might have any foresight towards what might happen would probably be Irons, who I can only assume is the person talking about the money in his bank account in the trailer. But
while it was happening, I mean, nobody knew what was going to hit with the Raccoon City outbreak. But that being said, if I had the ability to make a phone call and tell someone, do not come in here because there are zombies all over the place, and warn them, I would do it. I would say, don't come into work. You're good. Don't even bother. Or, if anything, I guess they could have done an even smarter thing and be like, well, who would believe that though? Like, oh, zombies everywhere. Help us. Get this on the news. Help us. Like, at first, people would think that's a hoax at best. I know it. I know it. Now that I think about it, people would think that's a fucking hoax and they would hang up the phone on me. You gotta put it into several different perspectives, man. That's just how it goes.
even then, why would anyone know what was gonna happen? The whole accident is completely unexpected because Hunk's group fucked up.
It's true, they did mess up, but having foresight and being aware of a situation is still a little bit distinctive, you know what I mean? It's still distinctive situations. I'm sure people were reacting and saying, what the fuck's going on? Let me save my people before it's too late. Just, yeah, I mean, they didn't need to have foresight to give a warning, dude. Like, come on, man.
Unless they're talking about the increased cases of the cannibal disease following the Arclay Mountain incidents.
I'm pretty sure Umbrella could not cover everything up as seen in Raccoon City, so it could make sense that maybe something slipped through the cracks. You never know, right? I mean, think about it. A huge pharmaceutical company trying to cover everything up, but stuff still gets exposed in the meantime. You can't hide everything. And they couldn't hide everything. So I'm inclined to believe that makes sense, good sir.
I don't know, it's probably too early to tell for this particular issue. Might not even be anything. What it ain't
Hey, he called the future. It might not be anything.
too early for, though, is the fate of this motherfucker.
David!
He's supposed to have blown his head off before Leon even gets there or get attacked during a meeting in the station or something.
Oh god. Everything needs to play out exactly the same as the original or else the game is terrible. That's the logic.
And am I seriously expected to believe that the zombie attacking Elliot managed to eat through the entire lower part of his torso in the time it took Leon to pull him out, completely disconnecting him from the waist down?
I thought it was multiple zombies near the shutters. Like, you guys are well aware of that, right? Multiple zombies near the shutters. Probably more hands and mouths tearing apart at this man. Therefore, you know, when you come back through here, it's like multiple zombies on scenario B and everything. It's like they were probably eating him on the other side of the shutter. Yeah.
One thing you can praise, though, the gore. Like, holy shit. This is proper Resident Evil amounts of gore.
I thoroughly agree. The gore system in RE2 is one of my favorites, if not one of my favorites of all time, and I just loved it. The fucking dismemberment, whoo, it was so good in that game. It was so good. Almost like just, it's a close second to Last of Us Part 2, but it was so great in terms of how they handled that. Kudos to Capcom. Hopefully RE4 Remake is just as gory.
For the first time in like forever. Hell, it might be the first time since the original 2 or 3 that we've had this level of skin crawling. Oh fuck no, to the brutality of the injuries. You got intestines, you got brains, you got blood. Don't get why the zombies aren't dying from one shot to the head, but it's such a delight to see parts of the brain splattering everywhere. It's like they're all organ-filled piñatas ready to be torn apart.
Great point. Fantastic point. I love that point. I guess the reason why the zombies don't die from headshots as they usually should in tradition is because they probably wanted to make the game harder. It's their way of making the game harder. I said this before. I can't just stand down here and shoot a zombie in the head from a hallway with a one headshot tap and have them walk up towards me. So they decided to say, hey, we're going to put peeling on the head. The zombie won't die immediately from headshots, and it's going to make them ironclad. That's why.
This is a zombie fan's dream game from what they've shown so far in terms of violence.
Absolutely.
As well as probably the best looking zombies in the whole series up to now.
Absolutely.
I can't imagine how some countries might try to censor it.
Well, Japan did. That did happen. They had 2 versions. I think it was a Z version and then another one, but it did happen.
And thank God the enemies aren't dropping health and ammo everywhere like in every game 4 onwards. Don't appreciate how the map points out where you're supposed to go, though. Like, seriously, you can't let the player figure that out? And there better be a way to turn off the game's commentary.
You got this.
No, there is not. No, there is not. Leon talks to himself. I would be talking to myself in a situation like this. I would be scared too.
I'm sorry, but Leon constantly talking to himself really breaks me out of the game.
How is that not humanized, though? Again, I don't have I don't have a problem with this notion of people being so scared that they can only rely on themselves for commentary in terms of comfort and warmth and a giant zombie outbreak. Now, granted, I do agree, a character saying what the fuck over and over after their 30th zombie encounter, I could see that argument. It's the same shit, you know, you get used to it, you get better, but I know this is personal preference. I know some people like characters talking a lot, others not so much. This, on the other hand, Leon saying, I got this, I can handle this, hopefully, trying to reassure himself, it's just more human, and it fits. And I have no problem with that line of dialogue in question.
Jesus.
Especially with how he keeps yelling,
Okay, that I can see to be annoying after the 900th time. Asshole. It's just funny though to me. Like, it's not even the worst thing in the world.
all the time at zombies. When it comes
If a zombie is attacking me, I'm gonna call him an asshole. So yeah.
to the actual gameplay, this is looking like the best Resident Evil game in years.
Let's go, my boy. I'm agreeing, my boy. Let's go, my boy. And people say, oh, all these critiques, you don't agree with everybody. Shut the fuck up. Like, I swear to God, like, he's speaking facts on this part. I love the gameplay of Resident Evil 2 Remake. He loves the gameplay, of course. He's into it. I'm into it. Like, open your ear, listen to some of these critiques, because I do agree with some of these creators. Some of the time, not all of the time though. You won't get all of the time. But that part right there, yes, this gameplay was chef's kiss. It worked perfectly for survival horror third person, and I'm hoping that RE4 Remake has the action horror down pat.
Dark, gory, not handing out ammo and health like it's candy on Halloween. Just kinda wish it was an all-new game instead of the remake of 2 with some of the changes they seem to be making.
I disagree with that. I think it should have been RE2 in the way they wanted to see it.
I'd be fine with this as long as we were also getting a version of 2 that just updates how everything looks instead of...
AKA, I just wanted a Resident Evil 2 game that played like Remake 1 and that's it. And I mean, that's fine to say, but after like 20 or something years, and knowing how gameplay conventions have been updated from the GameCube standard in terms of how they did fixed camera tank controls, now everything is third person over the shoulder and seamless. And I believe they would have been personally kneecapping themselves if they decided to go back to the archaic form of gameplay yet again. And I think that's it for this video. So we're going to move on to Scorpion and see what he has to say about RE Village and roasting the community. Well, this video's a little loud. Welcome.
Get ready for the next
roast. I like that little intro.
Come on, move. Chris, take him away.
Okay, that's funny. That got me. I'm not gonna lie. Oh my god, that was really loud. I'm sorry, I apologize.
In life and in
So I could already tell he really, really, really hates Capcom, if that wasn't obvious enough from the editing.
death, we give glory. The bell tolls for
Was that the fucking Blair Witch symbol? The fuck?
us all. They're coming again.
Bro, what is this editing?
What have we got?
Quit being so paranoid.
No, I don't think I will.
Long ago, a young girl went with her mother to pick berries for her father, who was...
Okay, I'm gonna skip ahead because he got some crazy editing going on right now. I just heard the Crash Bandicoot shit. I was just like, what the fuck?
Is this Resident Evil or Beauty and the Beast?
Huh? I don't get the correlation. Okay, whatever.
What is this? What the holy...
It's Resident Evil Village. There you go.
What is happening? What is this? What's this?
It's a werewolf. And there's been apparent wolfmen before in the comics. Non-canon, but it has happened, and we've seen viruses affect people in different ways. So, yeah, and this is all before Village. But I want to get to one point in this video I want to roast. You'll see what I'm talking about when I get to it. So again, he doesn't like the premise or the concept. It's like, alright. It's going to be the worst Resident Evil ever, of course, as these people usually say. It's the worst game ever until it comes out, and if it impresses or basically does decent, then the next one's going to be the worst game that comes out, and it's the same sort of perpetuated cycle yet again.
Oh.
It's just a local tale.
Okay, what is all this editing? Oh my god.
Redfield. This is Tweedledum in Wonderland, right? Either this is Tweedledum, or they added yet another new appearance for Chris Redfield. Nah, it's gotta be the Penguin from Batman. What the? Did we all watch the same trailer? Was everyone really thinking throughout this entire trailer?
Maybe people were excited for Village when they saw this trailer? Just a thought, man. That's it. It's no big conspiracy behind it.
Or is this one of them times when they manipulate the likes and dislikes of a video?
Oh, here we go. Conspiracy theorists. He's one of those. They manipulated the likes and my purest needs speak greater, and Capcom totally did this. I think this was all before the dislike bar was taken away, so I mean, no, people just liked what they saw, and that's it. And you're part of the 182 patrons or members who didn't.
Or
am I so out of touch? No, it's the children who are wrong.
Well, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I really hate what they've done with this franchise.
You could bow out anytime, my friend.
They gotta take the Resident Evil name and slap it on their unrelated random products? You wanna make a zombie apocalypse movie and television series? Slap that RE name to it. You wanna make a Coraline or Werewolf or a Halloween game? Slap that RE name to it as well.
It seems like he really hates the theme of RE being experimental, when them being experimental was the reason why they lived so long and why they're one of the most prolific survival horror franchises of all time, because they decided to dare to be different, break the mold, and add in things and add in new conventions that will basically be seen in history as something that revolutionized gaming. You can't lie to me and say that Capcom not only revolutionized third-person shooting forever, but they also brought back the horror remake boom, and now everyone is doing it because of them. That's just what it is, man. Let me cut him up a bit and let's continue on.
Who cares, right? As long as it sells, criticism doesn't matter because money talks. I can't.
Or the game is great and what you're complaining about is very, very minuscule.
Can't wait for a Call of Duty Resident Evil game to come out next. Oh wait, it already happened. They already tried that.
And we could tell the quality shift did not apply when most people hated Umbrella Corps.
How about a game based on Madame Zeroni? I can't wait to pick her up and walk and sing up the mountain.
What? What are you talking about, man? You're just going on these like random tirades. It's weird.
As she drinks from the water.
If only the woodpecker sighs. The bark on the trees was as soft as the skies. When Crapcon throws rubbish and fans still support thee. Disposing the good sauce, if only, if only.
Are you alright, man? Your mind seems lost. Are you okay? Are you okay there, buddy? I'm just trying to help.
Okay, now that we're done roasting Capcom and their RE8 presentation, it's time to roast the Resident Evil community.
Oh boy, here we go.
Including the Resident Evil YouTubers. That's right. I got a special message of my own to give to all you channels who cover this franchise. Why isn't any other YouTuber speaking up about this?
It sounds like you are a Resident Evil purist, and those channels once again are, as they talk about their complaints of thematics and everything, again, it's not widespread. Most people want to play these games and they want to get their hands on these games before validating anything. Therefore, when you made this video and you were hoping that everyone would hate the thematic, but everyone didn't, and they gave Capcom consumer trust because RE7 put the series back on the map yet again, and this is the sequel to RE7. So it's the reason why people are positive about it. I mean, this is not fabricated.
Is everyone else too afraid to roast the game? I know we...
No, because when people played Village after the fact, they hated the fact that the lords were underdeveloped. So yes, afterwards, people were nuanced about RE8.
We all want to look like goody-goody two-shoes with Capcom for some free merch, game convention invites, and those sweet sponsorships, but people, tell...
What is wrong with people being sponsored? Why can't people be sponsored by companies they like? I never got that. If you want to get merch from someone and you're sponsored, fair game, you know, do your thing. Get your money, king. Like, what the fuck? I don't know. It just seems like he wants to be that hard anti-establishment channel so much that he doesn't understand why someone doesn't care and they want to maintain sponsorship and whatnot and all that stuff. It's like, you know, go watch the reviews from those hardcore channels that probably hate Resident Evil Village because there was a werewolf in there. I don't know. It just seems redundant to me in terms of what you're asking other people to do. Like, other people are going to be inclined to say, hey, maybe I dug this game. It happens.
Tell it like it is. I thought you were supposed to speak up for the fans. Why? Why stand by the corporate stooges and pretend like this is what we've been asking for? Are graphics really that fucking sweet? Is
Oh god, here we go.
Resident Evil like the Bible and you just don't want to talk about the flaws? How many Resident Evil YouTubers are there now and yet they stay quiet when this comes out?
By the way, I did say that RE3 Remake had a lack of content when it came out, despite liking the gameplay. I'm just throwing that out there.
If you truly love Resident Evil, then you should speak up about this. And I'm not talking about tweets either. You are YouTubers. Resident Evil YouTubers. Make a video addressing your concerns. Sorry if I'm offending you guys, but it's just the truth.
It sounds like he wants Ro to really say stuff, and the big ones out there, that seems to be a jab at Spear Hunter, Ro, and all those other people out there. Ink Ribbon. Yeah.
I've known you 1 minute, and you dissing me already? I mean no disrespect.
Most of you do make some great entertaining content, which is why I'm concerned with your latest actions. This is just a message mainly to the RE YouTubers in the community.
PSA! Please decide to hate Village, otherwise I will hate you.
I mean, come on, people. You stayed quiet throughout the announcement of that horrendous plot about the Resident Evil Netflix series, and now this?
Well, you know, according to people on the internet, apparently I watched the Netflix show even though I didn't cover it, didn't watch it, exclaimed I wouldn't cover it. And for some reason, I ultimately did that. I don't know. It just seems like, you know, sometimes people just are weird about certain things. And it's so freaking funny. I was the first one that said, no, I'm not watching it. I'd rather watch something else. And that's it. So I didn't directly make a video about it, but I didn't need to because I already made my choice. And there you go.
Make a video and tell it like it is. Stop pretending like it's not bad and there's a chance. What kind of RE channels are you if you can't address everything that's bad with a franchise? I know
a good RE channel that could be nuanced? I don't know, buddy.
It ain't perfect. I love it, but I acknowledge that it's a fucking mess.
The little dog barking just kills me, man.
I'll tell you this. If for some reason this Coraline game is a masterpiece, then I'll say I was wrong.
I wouldn't say it's a masterpiece. It's just fun to play. And the gameplay is fast and furious and enjoyable. And I that's what I dug the most. And Ethan was better, in my opinion, as a character. I love when Ethan was talking shit. Fuck you, you crazy bitch. That was fantastic. I need to play Village again.
Doesn't hurt to be wrong if you admit it. But from the looks of it, I don't see a hint of hope. Especially after seeing this trailer. Now, if you really want to be on good terms with Capcom and both sides of the RE fanbase, you could always criticize it in a very professional and positive manner and be like, this game is looking more and more beautiful. These graphics are out of this world. There's just a teeny little itty bitty concern I have with it. Just a little teeny little problem. It doesn't look or feel like a Resident Evil game.
Resident Evil has changed so many times over the years, from action, first it was survival horror, then action, then a mix of both, and then introducing elements in there to keep the series alive. At this point, what is or isn't a Resident Evil game just varies from person to person. In my opinion, what an RE game is survival horror. And it could also be an action game. It could be anything at this rate to certain people. And if they basically say, hey, this action is still pretty good, which is what Village is definitely an action game mixed in with horror elements. But when has that been an inherent bad thing? People have said that since Resident Evil 4. Oh, it's not a Resident Evil game, but damn, man, this game is fucking lit to play, and I bet the remake is going to be the same thing. What is it where it doesn't feel like a Resident Evil game because it has less survival horror mechanics? If it entails that, at that point you could say it's Resident Evil but just action. And that would be perfectly understandable. I mean, if you hoard ammo in Resident Evil 2 OG, you could turn that game into a shooting gallery. Let's think outside the box.
But it still looks great. It looks quite abysmal. But I can't wait to play this game.
It looks quite abysmal, but I can't wait to play this game. That was funny. You, sir, you actually made me laugh. All right. You made me laugh.
It's my love child. But anyways, hopefully everyone else can start addressing this in videos. And it's not just breakdowns of the neat little Easter eggs they found in a trailer like this one. If you pause right here and you'll see a little umbrella logo. Or the most
There's nothing wrong with video breakdowns. Stop this bullshit.
obvious. Look at the graphics. Graphics aren't new, people. In a year or two, these graphics will be outdated. That's just how graphics work. Not to mention, the RE engine isn't exactly the best engine out there. It has similar flaws to the Telltale game engine, so...
What? Let's rewind that. The RE engine has similar flaws to the Telltale game engine. No, let's not even rewind that. Let's do a picture comparison. Hold on, give me a second. Let me pause this real quick. Alright, we're back. This is the RE Reach for the Moon engine. That's what they call it. Reach for the Moon, not Resident Evil engine. And we can see DMC5 is an example. So DMC5, Telltale, DMC5, RE engine, Telltale, RE engine, Telltale. Let's scroll down. RE engine, Telltale, RE engine. Am I going crazy that one? That's clearly fan art. Am I going crazy that one is clearly looking better than the other one? I got to be going insane. This has got to be pure insanity. Now, look, I like the style of Telltale's engine, but the RE engine just looks better for photorealism. How does it have the same problems? It can handle a hack and slash, a fighting game, a survival horror game. It's very versatile versus just the Telltale engine, where it's not pumping out like all those particle effects and all these multi-genre games with its engine. I'm just utterly confused by that logic. What the fuck? I closed the video from that. We're gonna move on to this one. We got 2 more to do. Limited amount of time before my brain dies. Here we go with this major remake 4 changes, blah blah blah, grifting. Here we go.
I love Resident Evil, but the Resident Evil 4 remake has had me very worried because we've heard they're changing bits and pieces of content, hoping no one would notice, and now we know they've changed basically everything about Ashley's character because they felt she deserved more.
How do we know they changed everything about Ashley's character and how she operates in the game? How do we know that? Sure, we know Ashley's gonna be a bit less annoying, apparently. But those core fundamentals are still probably gonna stick in certain areas. Of course, here we are complaining about the ballistics. Here we go.
More agency and realism. They have now admitted they changed her mechanics, but also her iconic outfit.
What's wrong with the outfit? It's just, what's wrong with the outfit? What the fuck? And okay, I'm fine with them changing her mechanics because guess what? This little fucking goblin, Ashley Graham, over here, getting shot randomly from a villager, getting grabbed from a villager, not following me accurately, taking incremental amounts of damage as if that was my fault. As if I can control where the arrows go and leap right in front and all this other horse shit. I'm so glad now that Ashley does not have a health bar, because that was the most annoying thing about her in the original game. Her taking damage and me just eating it like no tomorrow and not being able to do anything. Now I can revive her and pick her up if she takes too much damage, and if I don't get over there in time, then she dies. I'm fine with that.
I have a bunch of things to show off, but before we get into the topic at hand, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make videos and the live streams that I... So the first article that I'm going to be referencing is by DualShockers that says Resident Evil 4 Remake Director explains reasons for changes to Ashley's character and the co-op mechanics, and I am going to be talking about this Niche Gamer one, talking about how they have removed her iconic skirt, and obviously I...
I gotta pause this real quick so I can show you exactly what I'm laughing at. Hold on. Okay, I found it. What is this? What is this? Vera, what is this? They removed her skirt. What is this? That's a skirt. What is that? What are you talking about? What are you on about? What is that? That looks like a skirt to me. With leggings. Let's proceed forward. Oh my god.
I do not agree with any of these changes. This is a remake. You should be trying to, you know, keep as much of the original content as possible.
I thought they admitted to doing that with the gameplay being amplified to 11 and trying not to cut out significant things. Like, we're talking about like minuscule changes, nothing significant, right? This would be all fire and brimstone if they cut out the island, which is an area I really don't care about, but that would be all fire and brimstone if they cut that out versus just changing some stuff up like clothes or character attitudes being a little bit more stern or being a little bit more valorous this time around. We're complaining about a skirt that's already there.
And that is not really what they are doing here. It says the directors have spoken with Game Informer about how Ashley's character will drastically change, and they explain the reasons behind the changes.
Okay.
It says originally the story put players in control of the U.S. government special agent Leon Kennedy as he embarks on a mission to rescue her, the kidnapped daughter of the U.S. president. The rescue takes place in the first quarter of the story, and the rest of the campaign focuses on the duo's escape from the Spanish village where she was being held. The changes involved making this return journey more humane and realistic, both for Ashley's character and for the players. I hate the realism excuse. I am playing a video game about zombies. Okay, I'm saving the president's daughter. I don't care about realism.
We know that Resident Evil is not realistic, but aesthetically speaking, and not only aesthetically speaking, but in terms of how they coordinate human interaction, they're sort of interlinking that together and saying Ashley is going to be a bit more human this time around. Instead of just saying, oh, Leon, help, being a damsel in distress. Of course, that is like a humane trait, but just having more dynamic layers to her character. That's how I read that as. A more deeper approach of emotions and how they are going to tackle the idea of stuff in the trailer that we never seen in the original with conflict, like Ashley holding a gun on Leon due to the Plaga infection and not wanting to kill him, but here we are in this drastic situation of conflict. I think that's a humane thing, right? To try to save the president's daughter, but clearly speaking, she's under infection, so what do you do? What can you do? What are the stakes? We see the stakes here. Like, that's not a problem. Especially making her a better character, because I don't think that Ashley Graham in the OG game is that great.
But that is always their excuse, and it also has to do with her outfit change as well, because they basically say that her skirt is unrealistic.
She still has a skirt on. What the? Oh, I'm gonna give her 2 more minutes. That's it. That's all I can take.
It says, though, for example, in the original game, players could tell Ashley to stay put until they finished clearing the enemies, but that's no longer possible. She will continue to follow Leon, as it's realistically inconceivable that she would be left alone in such a dangerous environment.
Ampo is right. I don't want to sit there with like 7 or 9 dirty villagers converging on me and waiting for Leon to, come back, even though I'm like 5 yards out. I'm like 5 or 10 yards out. I like the fact that she follows you if you go too far, which means that she tries to stay out of danger. That's what I would do in that situation. That makes it more humane and realistic. I'm not going to sit there while all these leftover strays try to attack me and kill me while waiting for a command to run. Like, what are you... Do you understand the context of the interviews? Like, what are you talking about? God, man.
The point of having her stay back and stay hidden was the fact that she couldn't get hurt, and she was safer until he cleared out the, area. Now, she just follows you, meaning she'll probably end up dying a bunch of times, because if any of the creatures come up from behind you, they're probably going to end up getting her first.
The first thing they try to do is take her away. If she gets hit, then she has to take like a super substantial amount of damage under an invisible health bar in order to succumb. And then you can pick her up and revive her as many times as you like, as opposed to her taking permanent damage in the original game unless you healed her. You don't have to heal her anymore. Just pick her up and go about your way. They made this a little bit more easier to deal with. I don't see the problem.
Which I have a feeling is going to annoy the hell out of players.
Oh, believe me. Resident Evil 4, it was definitely annoying in the original, but in this one, I think they could pull it off. I think they could.
And Again, this realism excuse is just absurd. Yeah, you know what? It is kind of realistic that she would be left alone, because then the creatures would not be focused on her. They would be focused on Leon, who was the one with the weapon.
They're trying to capture them both in order to go after the other American that's not armed. Why wouldn't you prioritize and grab Ashley first? Versus the American with a gun suplexing the ever-living shit out of the rest of the ganado. Of course, they're trying to kill Leon. That's like a no-brainer, but it's easier to get Ashley, take her away, and then all of a sudden, Sadler wins. It's a gameplay perk. I mean, her following you now makes sense, considering the fact that a person wouldn't want to be left alone around a bunch of fucking ganado.
It says the goal was to convey the feeling of protecting someone to the players. So having Ashley come and go in the original game didn't really establish that. So now they've basically made it a, follow quest.
Huh. A follow quest. It's always been an escort mission. I think I'm done. I'm done for now. I can't continue. I can't. Do I want to continue? That's the problem. And the thing with these videos is these people are saying, oh, it's a follow quest now. It's always been an escort mission. Oh my god. My brain is having a hemorrhage right now. Jesus Christ. And I know the people out there watching, the rational ones, they're going to be like, oh man, that was a bad assessment. Yeah, I'm done for now. This is your critique of Resident Evil sucks forever, just like it sucked for Dead Space, just like it sucks all the time to infinity and beyond. Tell me what you thought of the video in question. I will get back to you people soon as I possibly can. If there's more Resident Evil opinions out there that I need to judge and sort of talk about and maybe put on the chopping block, maybe I will soon enough. We'll see how it goes. You know what? Fuck it. I want to give her 2 more minutes. I want to give 2 more minutes. I really do. I want to hear the rest. Okay, let's do it.
Where she has to follow you and you have to defend her, and if you don't get her from point A to point B, she ends up dying and you fail your quest, which I do think is going to be a very drastic change that probably will end.
How is that a drastic change when that's how the original was coordinated? Oh my god. They're just trying to make it easier on the players and have them not be so frustrated with changing her health values, and you don't have to heal her now. You could just pick her up like a Ghost of Tsushima NPC.
End up annoying people gameplay wise. It says that she could also climb ladders and crawl through spaces, making the obstacles harder and more focused on her tag team co-op with Leon, not just being rescued by him. That doesn't sound bad, adding a little.
We finally agree on something. Finally. Well, it doesn't sound bad. Of course not. There are some human brains in this world, some human brain cells. Oh, I'm about to cry tears of joy.
A little bit more gameplay to her, like she can climb ladders and crawl through spaces. That sounds like a good addition.
Facts.
Doesn't sound too different from the original.
Well, except for the fact that she could not climb. Well, she couldn't climb down ladders. Leon would have to pick her up to do that. So, yes, there is a difference there.
But again, you have all of these other changes going on now. It says Ashley will now be more serious and believable and will interact with him in a way that exudes more humanity than the game-like manner of the original. This sounds so annoying already. It sounds like they strong-womaned her. They made her independent.
I know where this is gonna go. Oh my god. This is a strong, independent woman who can't take any shit. But it's like, what's wrong with Ashley being a stronger female character than the original? It would mean that they're breaking the trope of her actually being a damsel in distress. Actually standing up for herself. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I think I'm done. I think I had enough. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.